athletic movement that we do throughout the day. So we're starting in the room. First 2, 3. No. First one, actually. First one move in the room. It is a barbell switch foot split stance push press. So we're gonna have that barbell. We're starting with our feet bilateral. Barbell is up here, okay? Kind of in that, when we go to clean it, it's up high, and we are going to push press, which means a little hop, and we're gonna go into a split stance as we push that bar overhead, making sure that our core, as we exhale, we're pulling that pelvis into neutral. That core is nice and tight so that when we end, we've still got that neutral spine and we're not bending too far back. So we're stopped here, and shoulders are going right overhead, maybe even slightly in front of the ears. Just make sure that you're not going too far back. So then you'll bring it back down to bilateral, and then you'll push press again, switching the foot that goes forward. Back down, right, back down, left, okay? You have, the rep on that is 10 to 12 total, so you're alternating. Then we come out here and we start with a plyo box step up with a reverse lunge. So, you've got your box, okay? If I step up with my right, I'm going to lunge back with my right foot. So I'm gonna come here, step up, plyo, come down, then my right foot comes back into that lunge, okay? And then I'm going to do that. We are doing that alternating, 6 to 8 on each side. So do all on the right leg, and then when you switch, you'll go up, plyo, okay? And then come back into that reverse lunge, step up. With these, this is probably the highest box anybody's gonna need. You want to keep your knee at 90 degrees, not much higher, because then you're using too much of a bend in your back to give you momentum to get up. You want to use that glute and hamstring, which means you can't get that hip flexor too shortened and tightened up. So this should be the highest we go, unless you really feel the desire to flip the box up even higher, but that's not super productive. Okay, then we have, we have a, don't make fun of me guys, I'm really gonna demo with these, because my back is feeling it from yesterday. We have a single leg hinge with a reverse fly. So we're hinging again on our single leg. So we're going over, trying to keep that back as flat as possible. I'm pushing through the heel of my front leg, my stabilizing leg. Then I'm taking these weights and I'm flying out and coming in and then standing up, okay? And then hinging, hinging, fly, and then come up. I know these don't look like much, but if you do this slow and controlled, you don't need much weight. What I saw just in a few minutes that I was here at 5 is that people, they go to grab the heavy weights and they do their hinge, and then they get into like this motion where they're trying so hard to get that heavy weight up that they're really thrusting their chest up, and now their back is in more of a curved position, and you're just gonna do damage to your back. You have to be able to keep that hinge and that back nice and flat while slowly raising and bringing those shoulder blades together, and then slowly bringing those weights. So you may have to go down in weight while doing this. I would prefer you do that rather than get a really kind of uncontrolled thrusting motion to get more weight up. So you come out, you actually have that, and then the box step up. Then you have the third one on here is a plate push. I'm just gonna, I don't know. Where's the, all of them. Okay, plate push. It's long this time. So we're going from yellow to white. Okay, so you got your plate, you're pushing all the Circuit 2, over here, we start with wall ball abdominal twist. So, pick your weight of wall ball, okay? You want to make sure that when you're doing this, you don't get collapsed through the chest. Your shoulders should be down away from your ears and back nice and tall. Okay, you can do this either with feet on the ground so that you can kind of drive through those heels to stabilize that back, or you can do this, okay, with feet off of the ground. But again, we talked about pressure. That's going to put a lot more pressure against that abdominal wall. So if that's something that you're trying to work on as far as like engaging the core correctly and keeping it tight through the whole move, I would suggest keeping your heels on the ground and slowing your motion down so that your breath can control your core, so that your breath can tighten that core with your exhale, and with your inhale it can also keep it nice and engaged as you twist. So, 2 ways to do that. Then we have Christy options today on the Superman. Option 1 is you can have the band around your hands, so that when you're doing your Superman, which is this move, we're here, okay? Hands are out in front of us. We're trying to lift our legs and arms off of the ground, keeping our chest nice and high. Option 1 is pulling back on the band with our hands. So we can be here, let them come forward, pull back. Think of pulling those elbows to your hips and those shoulders away from your ears. Okay, that's option 1. Or you can put option 2, the band around your legs, and do abduction while you're doing this. So you're in that Superman, okay, same thing, hands out in front of you. If it's too hard, you can bring them back, and then you're abducting out, okay? So, you actually get options today.
Do both.
Huh?
Both at the same time.
Or you, if you're James, you can also do both at the same time, okay? The next move here is kettlebell. The next move is a kettlebell row with a single arm deadlift. So we're making sure, feel like we've got to be very careful that these first 2 days, our core has to be way engaged. Otherwise, a lot of these moves we can feel in our lower back. So when we bend over, make sure that you're inhaling, okay? And as you exhale before you grab that kettlebell, pull that belly button in towards that spine so that you're nice and engaged. And you're going to row that kettlebell up and then deadlift with that one arm, okay? And then come back down, same side, row, engage the glute and the hamstring, and then come up and squeeze those glutes at the top. So, row, deadlift, 6 to 8 on each side. Then we have a kettlebell seat. So, we've got to start with the kettlebell. If I start with it on my left side, I'm hopping to my right to begin with. So I'm going to be here, okay? As the kettlebell swings out, I'm hopping over to my right. To my right and out, and then I come back to my left. Here it swings between, and then I clean it back up on my right side. So I end, okay, here, my left foot is forward, and then I end, my right foot is forward. So when you go over to the side, make sure you have some distance between your feet so that when that kettlebell goes back, you're not hitting either knee, okay? And then obviously on this side, it would be, it's on my right side, I'm gonna hop to my left, swing, clean, swing, clean, okay? And then it is, the last move there is the agility ladder. So you're just going over, okay, and over, and over. Down and back 2 times. Down, back, and then start over. So that circuit too. Okay, let's split this up in half, I guess.